Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Today we got Jeremy Stevenson get ready to fight Dennis Bermudez. Come up here on UFC 189, July 11th, MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Jeremy, first question. What's the most annoying question you're getting right now from all the media?
About the Jose Aldo, if he's really going to fight McGregor, stuff like that. And then right now is what I'm confused about is the IVs. People are talking about the IVs, the bans, the IVs.
Yeah, I caught that. I was actually out at dinner last night with an old promoter up in Canada, Mark Pavlich. He used to run the MFC Maximum Fighting Championships, and he was down here in Vegas, and we were having dinner together. And all of a sudden, my phone started popping up, getting alerts, and it was like the IV thing came up. Like now, IVs are banned. I haven't had any time to look into it, get deep into the situation, and find out what the hell's going on with it. On the service, to me right now, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you stop IVs? Because the thing is going to stop drug use, but it's the same drugs you do intravenously. You're gonna find them if you do it that way. If they do them orally, they do it intramuscularly. There's no different. If you do illegal drug, you still be able to detect it. It doesn't make that much of a difference.
I think it's I think fighters use those IVs as a health precaution. You guys are cutting a lot of weight, and UFC wants us to perform at our best and be at our best and make a weight. Some guys cut a lot of weight. And going in there dehydrated could be really bad. Taking a lot of brain hits. That could be really deadly to a lot of people. You hear about fighters, not having their chin when they cut so much weight, and maybe they're not doing it healthy. But I feel like maybe they're not rehydration. Their rehydration and their reload program is not exactly up to par, and that could play a huge factor in a lot of brain injuries in the future if some guys ain't able to do to IV. But then again, maybe some people are gonna have to move up and weight and fight around their normal weight. But I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that they're I'm all about cleaning up the sport for sure, because I pride myself on being natural and just using natural foods and just fighting at a natural performance. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm just blown away by the whole IV. It's really just.
It's kind of silly. It's kind of silly to me, especially if you have it administered by a professional. Like, it doesn't make if you have a doctor or a nurse or an EMT guy even that does it for his profession, comes in and puts it in for you. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I would use them. I would use an IV once a week during training camp anyway, because you can't drink enough. If you're trying to keep up to your gallon of water every day, plus rehydrate after practice, whatever you lose during practice, you're always going to be in a deficit if you're training hard. It doesn't make a difference if it's an air-conditioned room or a 110-degree warehouse with some swamp coolers in Vegas. You're always gonna be at a deficit. You need that. You need the liquid back in your system somehow. You can't eat or drink enough. There's not enough time in the day. You got to put it in via IV. Now, if you're saying I can't do IVs at all, you can't say I can't do IVs only after I make weight. Well, it becomes now it's a situation of the loophole. Like, how is this thing gonna work out? And to be honest with you, of course, all the people that don't understand the sport, don't understand weight cutting sports. Like, well, we'll just do same-day weigh-ins, and everyone has to fight the weight that they're at, and that's just how it's going to happen. And you're like, well, that's not the reality of what things go on. Like, this is not how this sport is structured. It's not how it's going to happen. We're not going to do a same-day weigh-in and then fight that night. That's even worse for our health than for brain injury. So
Exactly.
We have to wait to see what happens. It's like the drug policy. Everyone had to kind of wait to see what happens. Same thing with the Reebok deal. Everybody's just got to kind of wait to see what happens. There's a lot of speculation. But the reality of it is, we don't know until the first set of checks come out what's actually going to happen with this whole deal. That's just how it all works. So
exactly. You got to get the facts together. But I'm totally against the ban of IVs. I want to fight the best and the best opponent that I can. It's just a competitor in me to go out there and have the greatest fight. And taking away stuff like that, is just a real health risk, and I don't agree with it. I mean, as long as you're clean, you ain't doing any drugs as far as illegal drugs, and then PED stuff like that. Then let's just fight. I'm all about cleaning up the sport, but that's causing health risk.
Right, I agree. Let's talk about the best fight that you got to have on July 11th. You got to be at your peak performance against Dennis Bermudez. It's a pretty close fight on paper, but how do you think he's preparing for you? I know it's tough to think about what somebody else is doing, but if he's looking at your tape, he's watching what you've done before. He's seen your last 2 losses. He's seen that you're 2-2 in your last 4 fights. Like, he knows all these things about you. It's not very difficult to look you up and do a Google search or a YouTube search So he knows your perceived weaknesses of what he sees on tape. What do you think he's trying to do? How do you think he's preparing for you?
The way that I would prepare for myself would just be in really good cardio shape, which I imagine he always is. You know, he's going to try to push the pace and he's going to try to wrestle me up. You know, that's just a given. I know that people are going to wrestle me up, you know, just for the fact that I hit hard. I know I hit hard, and it freaks people out when they get hit by me. That's just a natural gift that I have. So naturally, you know, I've had so many fights. What do people do when they get hit? They're going to try to take me down. They're going to try to put me up on the cage. They're going to try to hold me down. And that's just the reality, and that's exactly what he's going to try to do. If he decides to be a meathead and try to throw with me, I'm gonna knock him out. If he wants to push the pace, try to come forward, I'm gonna put it on him. So I'm a big learner and grower from my mistakes and my past mistakes. And one thing that I have back more than any of those two fights is my mentality. I'm fully focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready, and it's going to be a great fight. I like Dennis Bermudez as an opponent. He's a great opponent. He's a gamer, and it's going to bring out the best in me, and I'm looking forward to it.
You're also a guy that really enjoys looking at your past mistakes and growing from, like you just said. Like you actually really enjoy that. You enjoy, like, I screwed up here. Let me figure out what I did wrong so I can fix it so it doesn't happen again. Which is really tough as an athlete to actually go back and look at something you did and, like, man, I lost that fight to Cub Swanson. I screwed up. Here's what I did wrong. Here's what we got to work on. Coach, what do we do? You know, how are we going to fix this and go on and do it? It's a really tough thing to do as an athlete. When you go back and look at the Cub Swanson and Charles Oliveira fights, are those fights that you want to try and get back again, like refight those opponents again relatively quickly? Or is this something that's like, okay, what happens, it happens. I learned from it, but it's not like, oh, I got a grudge against it. I got to get it back to make myself whole.
No grudges at all. You know, those are good fights. If it happens down the road and then we have to fight again, I'd be more than happy to fight him. But other than that, you know, I feel like me going in there beating Dennis Bermudez puts me ahead of them guys. You know, it puts me right back into the mix where I should be and where I know I'll be. And it's just a matter of getting there and getting into those frontal planes. And I would like to be fighting those top three guys. You know, that's what my ultimate goal is, to get to that belt. And, you know, fighting guys that are ahead of them, ahead of me, that's who I want to fight. You gotta learn, you gotta grow in the sport. If not, man, you're gonna fall off and just die and just rot out, basically like a bad apple or something like that. So it's extremely important to be adapted in the sport.
Now, you talked about, you know, one of the dumbest questions you're getting is McGregor and Aldo fight actually going to happen? You know, on July 11th, it's the biggest fight of the year so far, hype wise. Hopefully, they live up to it. You know, whether it happens or not, you know, it's up to injury and stuff that's completely out of our control. We can't help if Jose's rib is hurt. We can't help if McGregor's knee is hurt. We can't help who shows up, who doesn't. How big is it for you though to be on this card? Because now we're talking about the biggest hyped card that there is possible. A lot more eyeballs are going to be on this fight. Like, how much does that mean to you, knowing that there's going to be a lot of fans that have never seen you fight before going to be watching this card?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, McGregor's doing it for our division. You know, he can talk, he can promote. I'll give him that. He's been able to back it up. And of course, everybody, whether you like him, hate him, you want to watch him fight. He's like a Mayweather. He's an MMA Mayweather. And I want to watch the fight. Jose Aldo's been on a tear for years. And do I think the fight's going to happen? I doubt it, but we'll see. You know, there's a lot of speculation what's going on, but that's a fight that everybody does want to tune in for. And this is a huge opportunity for me to, just like you said, you know, maybe there has been fans for years who've been watching me, and maybe there's some newcomers that never do watch it, but there's so much hype around this that they got to have their eyes on there. And to be high up on the card where I'm at just really goes to show that the UFC still believes in me. They know that I'm going to bring it. And my fight's going to be an exciting fight as well. So to get that opportunity to go in there and leave it all, take the risk, and have a good night in front of in the biggest fight card of the year, I believe it is. Plus, it's International Fight Week. A lot of people are going to be excited. The energy in Vegas is just going to be unreal. So, I can hear it in my voice as I'm speaking. I'm just pumped up, and this is a great opportunity, like you said.
And for the folks at home that don't know, I'm looking at the rotation of the card right now. It goes Bermudez versus Stevens, Lawler versus MacDonald, which is the first title fight, and then on to Aldo and McGregor. So it's two title fights back-to-back, and you're the fight just before, as it stands right now. That's huge. The problem being, though, you want to be able to watch this fight. Talk us through Best case scenario, you walk in there. It's a second round knockout. You knock out Dennis. Now you're walking backstage. What happens backstage as soon as you're done? Like, what do they do? You see the doctor. You have to do press interviews. Like, what happens to you when the fight's over?
I'm just relieved. I look back at it all, good and bad. I take and I tell my coaches, we just I'll ask them like what happened, what we could have done better, and then we just go from there. I usually just take a break. I relax. I collect my check, and then I just want to see my family. I want to hear from my family, my kids. Recently they've been back in Iowa through the summer. Now that school's over, they're back in Iowa visiting their family, which is a good family time. But I'm here with the lady, and it's just me and her. So of course I'd want to talk to them, talk to the family, hear everybody's feedback. And as a fighter, when you win, you want those people to give you those praises and good job, because it's all the hard work. And also there's a lot of people around me that put in that work with me that a lot of people don't see just because it's me inside the octagon. So you want to be around those people who've really put in time. Took time away from their family, putting their hard work into you as well. So you want to go out, celebrate, eat a fat steak, and enjoy the time with them,
Will you have enough time to get dressed, get your check, do all your interviews, see the doc, do all that stuff you have to do backstage, and still get out there in time to be able to at least watch the Aldo McGregor fight from the locker room on the TV?
Yeah, of course. They always got the TVs in the locker room, so I'll definitely be watching. And not just that, I'm a huge fan of Robbie Lawler. I used to train up at the Militich and see him, and he's had a career like me, ups and downs. He's had that type of career, and then finally he's put it all together at a young age. He was exactly like me, hard hitting, ferocious, and always going forward. And that's just Robbie Lawler. So I've always been a huge fan of him. He's exciting. You can't blink when you watch a fight like that. And he's fighting a very game opponent as well, very technical. Striker, very skilled, very mental approach to the game, and he trains at a good camp. And Rory MacDonald is always ready. And a lot of people don't realize, but Rory MacDonald was kind of piecing up Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler just kind of said "fuck it" toward their last match and started just dropping bombs and kept it like a street fight. Which sometimes that's what you got to do. And he dug deep and got that win. So I'm interested to see what type of adjustments Rory MacDonald makes, especially now it's his title fight.
Who do you think wins that fight, Lawler or MacDonald?
I think Robbie. I think Robbie, knocked crap out of him, really kind of broke him in that type of fight. Yeah. I think Rory is on paper probably the better guy. He's probably got a better jab, or he moves better, this and that. But when you bite down that mouthpiece and you say "fuck it," my heart and all my money is going to go on Robbie Lawler just because he has that killer instinct. So I'm going to go with Robbie on that one.
I agree, actually. I have the exact same analysis of the fight, too, is that Rory's he is the better overall technical MMA fighter, but Lawler, by far, has the bigger heart and the bigger lung, and he bites much harder than that mouthpiece. When it's time to go, when he just finally says, look, it's time to go, it's time to go. So unless you can run away for an entire 25 minutes and keep tagging him up, you're not going to be able to win. He's going to catch you at some point. So,
sure.
What about, last question before we get out of here, what about Aldo McGregor? If the fight happens, if the fight goes down the way it's supposed to happen on July 11th, who do you think wins that fight?
I think Jose Aldo. I think McGregor will do well, though. I think McGregor's, he's got the biggest aspect of the game, which is the mental game. Me, I've always said it's 80% mental, 20% physical. I think he'll do really well at first, but once Aldo starts tagging him up, McGregor kind of leaves his chin out. He's not really tested and proven. Aldo's been proven in the game. Then again, I could be wrong. So this is what makes it interesting. He's hard hitting. He keeps range really good. He moves really well. But we've yet to see his ground game and see the proven potential that he has or may has not. So it's kind of up in the air. That's why people want to tune into this fight. July 11th, MGM. It's going down. It's a huge weekend. And people are excited, and we don't know what's going to happen.
When I first heard about this fight, I dramatically picked Jose Aldo. Like, it wasn't even a close shot for Conor McGregor. As getting closer to the fight, I still think Jose Aldo, but I do think it's going to be a game fight the entire time. I do think that Jose's going to finish him because of the fact that you said his chin's going to be hanging out. But I think he's going to survive until a lot later in the rounds than I further thought. I think it's going to be late, fourth, fifth round, championship rounds before Jose's able to catch him. The other thing is, though, just so he understands, I picked against Conor every single fight that he's been in, in the UFC and lost every single time. And
Yep.
I'm talking, I have been completely confident the first 3 times that he fought. I was completely confident against Max Holloway. Like, no, Max is going to tool him up. And I was like, I lost again. Like, I'm just so understand when it comes to Conor, he just might be my betting nemesis. Where I just like I always pick against him and I always end up losing. This might be the way it is. It's a tough. He's a tough character. He's got the game. He's got the talking game to a whole new level. He has brought it to 3.0. It's a whole new level. He's got the mental game out there. We just have to see if he's technically sound enough to be able to stand against a guy like Jose Aldo. And I said last question before, but this one just popped in my head. Who would you rather fight, McGregor or Aldo?
I don't know. That's a good question. There's reasons for both who I'd want to fight. Jose Aldo, he's been king for so long, and he's the baddest proven dude. He's done it for a decade, and he's beat the top contenders. He's not just beating top 10 guys. He's beating those #1 guys consistently. To me, that's more proven. That's a more dominant champion. That'd be the guy that I'd probably lean more towards that I'd want to fight. McGregor, of course, man, the money. He's going to be bringing in his mouth. He's going to be bringing in the Irish fans who are loyal to him, actually. The American fans, I always say this to people, but they're so disloyal. This is so funny. The Irish fans, I love them for their loyalty. They may not like me. They may be choosing their boy. That's fine. That's cool. I respect their loyalty. That's awesome. I was at a Cain Velasquez fight with my wife a while back. This is a couple years. I maybe fought on the card or fought like a week before. He was fighting Junior Dos Santos, I think, the second time, and everybody's saying "Si se puede," yes we can, and the American fans are going crazy. By the third round, he's beating the crap out of him. His face is all messed up, Dos Santos, and all of a sudden people are booing. They're booing because he's pinning him up on the cage and beating the crap out of him, doing the same thing, and they're booing because they think this is boring. They're very disloyal fans. I have my loyal fans, of course, family, friends, people who like my stuff for a long time. But as Americans, they're always going to choose the winner or go with the new hype or go with this. But Irish fans, Brazilian fans, Mexican fans, they're loyal. They're loyal to your guy. They don't care if you're laying on that dude. As long as you're winning, they're going to be 100% behind you. Yeah. And they have a little bit more of a respect for what's going on.
You can throw one more in there, too. You can throw in English fans. They travel, the entire UK as a whole will travel worldwide to watch one of their countrymen fight someplace. They don't care. And I got to be honest with you, I think all of Dublin and half of Ireland is coming over to this fight. It is going to be an Irish heavy card on July 11th, 100%. And it's going to be amazing because I'm going to be there live, so it's going to be great to watch it and sit there and have that whole thing come together. All right, Jerry.
They're exciting. I'm pumped for them, so bring them on. We can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing night. Your fight's going to be great, top to bottom, starting with the Neil Series Samalka fight all the way up to McGregor and Aldo. It's going to be an amazing night. You really got to put your hat, as a broadcast journalist guy, we really have to put our hats off to Sean Shelby and Joe Silva for putting together, the matchmakers, putting together a card like this, because this is an exceptional card, whether you can be there live or not. All of a sudden you hear it. Not to mention Mike Swick is back. That he's been gone for a while. I thought he was out. I thought he was just going to be in Thailand doing nothing. All of a sudden he's back on the card. And then,
awesome.
This is a great card all the way top to bottom. So I can't wait to see you fight live. For me, it's going to be a special treat to get to be there and watch it happen. Thanks for coming on here, man. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day. We'll talk to you after the fights are over.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it, brother. I'll see you soon, man.
You got it, buddy.